So I wanted to ask you how, your work is different from other people's work in similar fields, whether it be therapy or.
Right. Where I see the difference in my work is that a lot of therapies deal with symptom management and self-care, and those things are great. But it doesn't go to the root. So let me expand on that a bit. When you consider that from the moment we're born, and early as the inception of our soul even, I mean, I've done releasing from things that people have picked up in the womb, okay? Where we are having experience after experience. And when those experiences happen in the presence of intense emotion, we put meaning to it so that we form a whole library of implicit memory that informs us every day. So often when people come in, they come in with a problem like social anxiety, OCD, financial insecurity, or being an under-earner.
Right.
And they see that as the problem. I see that as the symptom.
So what makes you, let's say, different from Western medicine is that Western medicine prescribes ways to alleviate symptoms, and you go into the root cause, where trauma lives.
Right.
Yeah.
So, like I get to, I help them break the code of that original question. How come I always? How come I never? Why is this problem always happening in my life?
Right.
Okay? So when that code is cracked, then transformation can happen. Then new neural pathways can begin to move through the old programming and be reconsolidated to a new learning. And then, so instead of making unhealthy choices, you're making more healthy choices. Instead of unconscious choices, conscious choices.
Which is half the battle.
Which is healing.
So I have a, it's personal for me, which is, for some reason, I would say for past traumas, it's hard for me to let go and to forgive.
Yeah.
I can kind of forgive, right? Like you can go, I'm just not going to give it a lot of energy, or, it's better for me if I don't hold on to it. It's just ridiculous. It's a weight. However, and like in the dark hours of the night when I'm in my head, it still comes back. Like
right.
Things you should forgive so you can move on.
Right. So there's a couple of ways I can answer this. So let me just address you personally. So I just want to remind you of something that I said previously. The adaptive child protects us by decreasing suffering, increasing safety, well-being, and justice. So for some reason, sounds to me that your adaptive child accomplishes that by holding on to a grievance. Okay? Seems like a good idea for him. Okay?
Right.
Your functional adult, however, has a whole other opinion.
Yes.
Okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Because, all right. Trust is a result of healed trauma. Okay? So the functional adult knows the cost of unforgiveness.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay? The adaptive child, it's like for years I have researched why people don't heal. And when I started doing this work about the wounded child, the adaptive child, and the functional adult, I realized that permission to heal from all our wounds, scars, traumas can only come from the functional adult. The wounded child and the adaptive child only wants to protect us. It has no interest in healing,
Right.
Yeah. So from that perspective, okay. So the other thing I want to say is, I think that there's a lot of confusion about forgiveness in this culture. between religious programming and New Age programming. But there seems to be that there's some, the hidden message behind forgiveness is that there's some get if you do it.
Right.
You know, I mean, it's even like been portrayed that way, that there's some get.
Yeah.
Forgiveness is a result of healed trauma. It happens organically. The more trauma that I healed, the more my forgiveness could stay up to date.
Right.
My adaptive child didn't need to protect me that way anymore.
Right. So rather than saying, okay, I just need to forgive, you just work on your trauma.
Right.
And that
it becomes neutral.
Yeah.
You know, that doesn't mean, you know, as some people say, you know, there's from Christian programming and conditioning, then it's all right between people. You know, toxic people are toxic people if they haven't done their work. You know, it doesn't necessarily mean that you stay relational with toxic people. Forgiveness is for you.
Right.
You know, because a grievance needs to be created daily in order for it to exist.
Yeah.
Whether you're conscious of it or not, you're waking up and saying, when I put on my socks and put on my shirt and I'm putting on this grievance. But that's what we do.
Right.
You know? And so you don't, when you're in your functional adult, you can leave that piece of clothing off.
Right.